Well, hello everybody, I'm Brian and I like to build stuff. Spring has sprung in the southern hemisphere, which means that Christmas is not too far away. It's time for us workshop addicts to start thinking about making some Christmas gifts and or decorations. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I made these cute Christmas trees and this nice little Christmas lantern. Alright, first thing I'm going to make is one of these Christmas trees. It's just made out of a scrap piece of pine and a couple of these shiny balls. Alright, to make the Christmas tree I'm going to use this piece of second-hand pine that I've got. It's 280mm across, I don't know what that is in inches, and 350mm tall. The first thing we've got to do is cut out the Christmas tree shape. And to do that, I'm going to first find the centre of the board and then I'm going to cut 15 degrees each side of centre. Half of 280 is 140, of course. Alright, so the next thing to do is to take this over to the miter saw and cut those angles as I indicated to you before. So we've got our Christmas tree shape done. The next thing we need to do is drill a few holes to make space for the shiny balls. To cut these holes, I'm going to use a hole saw set. You'll need to pick a hole saw which gives you enough clearance for your balls to swing in. Don't forget to take into account the hanging point on the ball when you choose the size of hole saw. 64mm or a 76mm is a bit of a choice. If you have a look there, you can see there's plenty of room around the ball, but I think I'm going to go with the 64. Okay, now you've cut the holes in your board or in your Christmas tree shape. There will be a few fuzzies on there, and if you weren't entirely accurate with your hole sawing, there may be a small ridge on the inside of each opening. You just need to get yourself a bit of sandpaper, clean those up before we move on to the next step. Looks like a bit of Swiss cheese. Now that we've sanded it, got the rough bits off, the next thing we need to do is just give it a coat of something. There are plenty of options for that. You can use a spray can, you can make a wash with some acrylic paint and put that on if you like as a stain, or you could use a stain, and that's what I'm going to do. Don't forget your PPE. Okay, what I'm using for this project is a Fitties light oak wood stain. Now you can thin this down obviously depending on what colour you want, but I'm just going to use it straight. Rightio. That's that job done. Put that to one side and then just grab a bit of paper towel and wipe off any excess, remembering to rub in the direction of the grain. Now we'll just leave that to one side to dry while we think about the base. Okay, so I'm going to make the base out of a piece of the offcut that the tree shape came from. All I'm going to do is draw around a circular object and cut it out on the bandsaw. Doesn't have to be perfect, and we can easily sand that down on the disc sander. Alright, now we've got that done, we'll just give that a bit of a sand and put some stain on that as well. Okay, so while those two parts are drying now, I'm going to think about what coloured balls I want to hang on the tree. Now, I've got a green one, I think I've got some red ones somewhere, I'll go and have a look. Now to hang your balls in the tree, you're going to have to drill obviously a small hole above each of the openings. The task is now to hang my balls in the openings without losing my patience. I'll do that off camera, I think. Once you've got your Christmas balls hanging as you want them in the openings there, you just need to go and trim off the bits of string that are hanging out the back. Now I used a little bit of CA glue just in the openings where the string goes through, just for a bit of added security. All that remains to be done now is for the base to be attached. To do that, I'm just going to use a combination of CA glue and wood glue. In the second part of this video, I'm going to make one of these cute little lanterns. It's going to be a little bit different to this one, in that I'll put a different base and a different top on it. To make the lantern, I'm going to use some bits of pine offcuts that I've got here, a little bit of pallet wood, and I'm also going to utilise the Xtool D1 laser to make the Christmas tree shape in the front of the lantern. First thing I have to do though, clean up this timber, put it through the thickness planer, get all this gunk off it, and I need to get all the parts down to 12 millimeters thick. I found that the laser will easily cut a 12 mil thick ply, but it struggles if it's any thicker. So 12 mil it is, and I'll get on with that. Alright, got our pieces of timber nice and clean. I'm just going to trim up the edges on this wider board, just to get those kind of rounded edges off, make it nice and square. These boards will form the sides of the lantern. I just have to pick a nice piece now in which to cut the Christmas tree shape. Cut that to the right size, which is 95 by, what is it, 95 by 145. So 95 by 145, cut that piece out, take it over to the laser and cut the Christmas tree shape in it. I need to cut two sides, which are 145 by 75, I think it is, if I remember correctly. Where are they? Sides? Yep. So two sides at 145 by 75, 145 by 75. A front and back, which will be 95 by 145. So I'll take myself over to the miter saw and I'll sort that out. So I've got my front and back pieces, as I said before, 145 by 95. Now I need to cut two side pieces, and I'll take them over to the table saw, 145 by 75. So I'll just go and do that. You've seen a table saw before, so I'm not going to bother showing you. So now I've milled up my two, front and back, two sides, top and bottom pieces. What I'll do now is pick the best one of the front and back and take it over to the laser and cut out the Christmas tree shape in the front. So I've retrieved my the lantern front from the laser and it's come out really clean. Alright, what I'm going to do now is just glue and pin nail the sides to the back and the front. Put the front on now. Just put a few spots of glue on there, not too much. The glue and these pin nails will be plenty to secure it. Alright, what I'll do now is I'll put the bottom on. I've made it big enough so that there's a sort of 10mm reveal all the way around. And just again with some brads and a bit of glue, I'll swap that out. Lovely. We've got the bottom on, so what I'm going to do now is make the top. We're going to do the top a little bit different in that it's not going to be glued and pinned. It's just going to have like an insert which will fit inside the top of the lantern. And that way you can take it off to put your tea light or whatever lights you decide to put in there. And I just need to get this part the right size. We're nearly there. Just got to trim a bit off, and I'll do that on the disc sander over there. It looks pretty good to me. I'll just put a few little pins in there. Lovely. Just going to make a little knob now to go on the top of there. Okay, the lantern's nearly done. I've given it a bit of a sand, and now it's time to put a coat of finish on it. Now you can choose whatever finish you like. I'm just going to use a bit of water-based stain here, walnut and a sponge. Okay, to stain the lantern I've used some Fiddy's water-based stain in walnut. It is quite dark, and if it's too dark for your tastes you can actually dilute it with water and give it a lighter tint, or you could use something else. I'll just let that dry now and then I'll think about what kind of lights I'm going to put in it. Okay, that finish is nice and dry, as you can see. Well, you probably can't see, but you have to take my word for it. Now all that remains for me to do is decide what kind of a light I'm going to put in it. There are lots of different kinds. You can get these string lights which you can put the batteries in. You can buy string lights with batteries already in them. I've chosen to use one of these little electric tea lights. They've got batteries in them already, and they actually do flicker as well a little bit. You just put that in there and that's very effective. It looks very good. Alright, if you've made it to this point in the video, just let me know in the comments below what kind of a tea light you would, what kind of a light you'd use in your lantern if you made one. So Christmas decorations, or gifts, or sell them at your local craft markets, whatever you like. Cheap to make, easy to make, and probably return a reasonable profit if you were to sell them. Well, that's it from me for this video. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.